week on Gay Matinee,
Waiting for Superman. It's all free!
Gay Matinee, where we go to the free movies on Tuesday and we come here and dish about it based on what we think.
Hell yeah!
Waiting for Superman is a documentary from the folks who produced An Inconvenient Truth. The documentary is about our broken education system and what's being done to close the gap between the poor and the rich when it comes to our failing public school. On a scale of 1 to 10, how was the movie?
I guess I'd give it about an 8. It was well crafted and it not only did a good job of outlining the situation, the broad picture of how the school system worked, but it was interspersed with real people and individual stories that you could attach to actual people in different schools.
I agree with you that 8 is a pretty good rating for the film. It had a lot of statistics to back up the different studies that have been taking place throughout the education system, and what has been done by bureaucrats and unions to stop this from happening in an effective manner due to that dirty word, tenure. It was definitely informative, definitely a thinker film.
I found it more depressing than thoughtful.
In your opinion, was the plot effective? Did it draw in the viewer? The plot had a unique and diverse juxtaposition of facts, case studies, news clips. It had it all.
I'm kind of old school. I expect my journalism and my documentaries and whatnot to be a little more unbiased. I think there's a fine line, and when something is too much to one side, it can become propaganda. And the opposite side, which in this case were the teachers' unions, were like a big one. They didn't really get to say their side of the story, and therefore it came off more like villains rather than just an opposing point of view.
One of the highlights of the film deals with the impact of charter schools in the education system, and how by being independent of the unions, the teachers' unions specifically, that these charter schools have managed to produce high-performing students from low-income backgrounds.
One part that I think gave me like a little bit of hope was when they went over the whole new chancellor of the school district in DC, how there was so much opposition to her, and certainly she didn't get all of the reforms she was trying to do, but she did seem to be able to go 2 steps forward before setting 1 step back. So there was some progress
In the film, or was there something about it that you did not like?
Well, not worse in the sense of poorly done, but certainly the one that got me the most was the actual lottery and how many of them didn't win. Whether it was like a weird coincidence, but of course the affluent white girl got into the charter school and all of the like poor black and Latina people didn't.
I don't necessarily see that as a commentary on race. I think it's more about circumstance. Mm-hmm. She grew up in a neighborhood where houses are close to $1 million. She wasn't one of the smarter students in a traditional sense, so I think the charter school is probably a great alternative for her to thrive. Mm-hmm. Granted, a lot of the other students from the inner cities with a less affluent upbringing, the ones that didn't make it, I found it to be not a worse moment, but a heartbreaking moment in terms of who sucked and who didn't. We can't rate actors because they're all allegedly real people. If you could change one thing about the movie, what would it be?
Usually at the end of documentaries, they do this like little scrolling thing that gives you an update on where all the people are during that time that the film is in production. And I don't remember getting like an update on what happened to those students on the waiting list and stuff like that. Or the ones who didn't make the lottery, did they make it the next year or whatever?
Yeah, we're concerned about you, Daisy and Francisco. And now it's time for our weekly segment, Did it make Robert cry?
No, it depressed the hell out of me, but I didn't cry, no. It's all free!
Gay Matinee!
Hell yeah!
Woo! Too much reality. Woohoo! Too much reality.